Welcome back to Straight Facts, joined by Lee Gunner. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We're still in the title race. So, yeah.
You are still in the title
I'm in the mud because I didn't think we'd win another game. So, yeah, I'm in the mud again. Am I mud? I'm in the mud or am I still a flip-flop? I don't know. Maybe both.
It depends how people feel about you on any given day, Mr. Lee. It always depends. I got called out for an English bias today. Terry, you've got disgusting English bias. And I said, I panicked. I thought, oh, no, they're after me. I said, what have I done? He said, you want De Gea sold. So what's that got to do with my English bias? You don't want any English players sold. I'm like, have you not watched my Maguire videos? You went far in Maguire.
That's what's funny about doing clips, like clips on my TikTok. Yeah, I don't run my TikTok. Yeah, and like sometimes I'll just go and have a look at the comments. How comes you're picking on this player? Yeah, and not this player. And it's like, mate, if you actually watch the whole video, which is on a different platform, you'll see that. But that clip is for that platform.
Yeah,
like,
I did a point of recording a whole video about David De Gea, why we might keep him, why we might sell him, why we should, why we shouldn't. It was very balanced. But the title was based on what Roy Keane said, that I'm sick of this goalkeeper. How dare you single out a player? I'm like, there's a lot of weakness out there when, yes, you can single out David De Gea for his mistake. If you watch the video, you'll clearly see, I said it about 3 times in an 8.5, 9-minute video, that he wasn't the only reason we lost against West Ham, but I'm calling out his deficiencies. Why? Because I want my football team to get better, and it has to happen. And yeah, it did trigger a lot of people, but at the same time, I is not so bothered about it because I know what I'm all about. Do you know what I'm saying? And we spoke about clips the other day, and I know, like, you got showed a clip. I showed you the full clip, exactly what I said. You're like, oh, that's nothing like the clip. That's exactly, you know, this is what happened. I mean, you've been through that. You've literally had people edit 3 different videos together to make it seem like you were saying something you didn't. And it's crazy. But there we go. Lots to delve into today, people. Make sure like buttons are hit. Make sure you are subscribing. We're looking ahead of the Champions League semi-final later. Top 4 debate. Declan Rice for a 120 million British pounds is what West Ham are asking for. So we're going to be looking at that. But the first thing I wanted to throw out to you is I haven't watched this video, but I've seen it titled, Lee. And it's, do you really think Erik ten Hag should be sacked?
Man United fans that normally come here and like me are not going to be my friend anymore. At the start of the season, most Man United fans that I see, the general consensus was get top 4 and win a trophy. Tick, they've already won the trophy. They're in a cup final, which I don't think they'll win, especially in the form they're in now and the form City are in. But it is a cup final, you never know. But if he doesn't get top 4, then by all the fans' standards at the start of the season, then he's failed. Like the general consensus when I was doing shows with Rants, with Saeed, and with other Man United content creators like Cass and other people, and then seeing other people online, yeah, the general consensus within that fan base online was he has to win a trophy and we have to get Champions League football. So if he doesn't get Champions League football, especially if it's to Liverpool that's come from 13 points behind them and could overtake them and get that last spot, then, bro, come on. He's not achieved what the aim of the fan base was at the start of the season. Yeah, furthermore, he's done 200 million quid, right? He's done 200 million quid, and he's ended up getting some of the most embarrassing defeats in your club's history this season. In fact, the biggest defeat in your club's history, or for 90 odd years or whatever it is, to the team that is now right on your backside trying to catch you. Yeah, not only that, he's had more losses in the Premier League this season than Ollie had in the last 2. Like, so where's the improvement? You've added Varane. Yeah, you've added, well, he didn't bring Varane in, I don't believe, did he? It was before him. But you brought in Casemiro, you brought in Lisandro Martinez. You had 2 top players there, by the way. Yeah, you brought in a left back that now barely, barely gets a game. He sits on the bench for some reason. When he started the season, brilliant. Yeah, Luke Shaw's now playing. Luke Shaw has been part of that football club through its worst time, its longest trophy drought in 50 years. Luke Shaw's been through the whole part of that. And what's the reward? Here you go, have a new deal. David De Gea, yeah, if you can make a 10-minute compilation of goalkeeping errors, then he shouldn't be at the football club. And you can do that with David De Gea. For as good as he is with his feet, like stopping shots, yeah, and mad saves, ultimately that guy costs you just as many points as he saves you. What's that reward? There you go. There's a new contract. So, it's all well and good people saying, oh, you can't just get rid of all the players. Well, he got rid of Ronaldo, the highest paid player in the Premier League. Yeah, arguably the GOAT. A lot of people seem to think he's the GOAT. Cool. You can make an argument for that with the goals that he scored. Yeah, and he managed to get rid of him just like that. So when he first came into the club, I said to you, and I think I said to a lot of other people, Harry Maguire has to be stripped of the captain's armband. What did he do? Sat in a press conference. Harry Maguire's a good player. He's still going to be the club captain. That's red flag number one. Yeah, red flag number two. I said it to you as well on there. When you lost 7-0 to Liverpool, where was the accountability? Every single one of them 11 players started the next game. That shows weakness to me. Yeah, and then if you go to Sevilla and get battered. You've been battered by Brighton, Brentford, Liverpool. That's some embarrassing defeats this season. And at one point, you were 5 points off the top. Yeah, and now you're struggling for top four. Marcus Rashford, as good as he's been at times this season, he's only doing what he does most seasons. Purple patch.
So I listened to a lot of what you said there. So from your point of view, you look at some of the things you've said, some United fans will agree with. There's some others that people will take issue with. I just want to address them first and then go into the sacking of the manager. Kevin here, I agree with the super chat, says general consensus I feel was top 6, 7. I don't remember. I didn't go on a show with Rant, so I'm not too sure what Saeed said. But most Man United fans I spoke to, when we did all our predictions on the football terrace of where Man United would come, no one had Man United higher than 6 this year. I don't remember seeing a prediction from anybody at the beginning of the season about even winning a trophy, let alone finishing top 4. However, during the season, expectations change, and I expect us to finish inside that top 4. So I don't think at the beginning of the season, people were saying, has to win a trophy, has to get top 4, otherwise it's failure. It was more about progression and to see how far we could go. But I do get where you're coming from when you say that. I think a few things are interesting. You mentioned there about Ollie. Well, he's got less wins than Ollie's first full season in charge, and he's got more points so far than Ollie's first full season in charge. Equally, based on last year, we lost more games, and we've already surpassed last season's points total. So I'm not gonna compare Ten Hag's first season against Ollie's second or third, because it's not Ten Hag's second or third season. We're going to do like for like, and it's the best, barring Jose's because he had 2 trophies, but points-wise and a trophy, it's the best first season a new manager has had since taking over at Manchester United. However, that doesn't mean it's perfect, and it doesn't mean that there are not areas to criticize, and maybe that's the difference between me and some top Reds. I'm not sitting here and thinking he's been perfect. He's definitely galaxy-brained it at times. He's definitely made mistakes at times. There's no shadow of a doubt in my mind. Some of the red flags you mentioned there. I mean, also the difference between Ollie's first and last season is we have won a trophy. And as you'll rightfully state, because you say that's the main aim of football is winning a trophy. So he's already surpassed what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has done. The difference being, though, which shouldn't be taken out of context, is we had Moyes, LVG, Jose, then Ole. 4 foul projects. Each time a bigger mess created because the previous mess wasn't fixed. So he's picking up and got the hardest job of all of them. And by the way, if he fails and it's a mess again, the following manager has got an even bigger task to take over from. So all of that context is important, and he did win us a trophy. I think so I've seen improvements there. On the Maguire thing, look, again, I need to be consistent here. I've slammed Jose. I've slammed Conte this season for talking about their players too disrespectfully in the public eye. We know that he doesn't rate Maguire. We know that he doesn't rate McTominay. We know that he doesn't rate Fred too much. And we know that, and they're 3 players I draw out because they've been heavily criticized by our fan base. And when he's had full fit squads available, he has seldom used those players when he doesn't have to. I get your point on David De Gea. But even if he does get a new deal at the club, it's a reduced deal. And when you read the other reports, not what he's saying in public, where he's talking about, we love the guy, he's a good guy. We are linked to other goalkeepers. We are linked to bringing in somebody else to challenge David De Gea. The problem that Man United have got is we have no idea yet exactly what our budgets are going to be, what our priorities are going to be. You let De Gea leave on a free and the Glazers stay and there isn't enough money, you could end up with a worse goalkeeper than David De Gea. You could end up with a better one, cheaper, but you could end up with a worse goalkeeper. So I think what their process is, let's make sure we've got him, and if we can improve on top of it, then happy days. But I do understand the criticism of De Gea because I've called that out as well. So that's where I'm going to be balanced. So for me, there are definitely some things he's got wrong this year. There's been some embarrassing results, absolutely. But I just think sacking him is a little bit too premature. I believe he more than deserves another season, especially as the season's not over and we make it into the top 4. And lo and behold, if we beat Man City in the FA Cup final, that alone is a tremendous achievement based on how good they are. I think everyone will be looking at Ten Hag's situation a little differently. So I do think it's a little bit premature to be talking about sacking Erik Ten Hag. Although what I do agree with is there's some areas to definitely challenge him on, and there's some big areas for improvement. We do have we've actually got the 5th best away record in the league. However, that needs to it still needs to dramatically improve next year. Those horrible away results where we've been slapped have to improve next year. But if we improve on those elements, which I believe within the right transfer window we will, we're going to have a very good team next year. So I just look at it as overall, I'm happy with the progression. There's been a drop.
1 second, sorry.
No worries, mate. There's been a drop off towards the end of this season, but a lot of that comes down to still not having a squad that he has built and he has put together in the image that we want to create as a football club. So I do get your point, but yeah, I can't buy into this idea that sacking Ten Hag now is going to improve Man United massively. And the fact that I say, and I know you don't do this, Lee, because it's not really your style, but the fact that most rivals agree and go, yeah, you've got to sack him, that sort of tells me we shouldn't. Because when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was struggling and doing really badly, no rival wanted to see him sacked. But suddenly, rivals desperately care about the direction of Manchester United and who our manager should be. And, oh my God, he must be sacked. It's the only way to improve. So for me, I think there's a little bit of reverse psychology in there from rival fans to try and rattle United fans up. And, I believe we need to be balanced and it needs to be criticized without sacking him. Demand better. That's how you're holding him accountable, by you're putting that pressure on him. Now, if next year we spend another 200 million, 250, 300 million, and we scrape 4th again, we only win the Carabao Cup, we're still getting beat away from home badly, then you look at it and go, maybe he isn't the guy. He's had 2 years and we haven't seen those improvements. But this time next year, the world could look very different for us. So yeah, I think you're right to challenge him on those areas, but going as far as to sack him, that's beyond accountability. I think we'd be cutting off our nose to spite our face at this stage.
I get what you're saying. Listen, I only put that video out there because based off of what I see with Man United fans, they were 3 days in a title race, then it flopped. Then they're in another title race for 3 days, then it flopped. Quadruple was on at one point. Do you know what I mean? So I wasn't trolling, because look, it's Man United, Terry, and I've grown up. I'm a little bit older than you, but we've grown up in that Man United dominating. Yeah, so for big Man United to finish 5th when they've been in that top 4 all season, it's a big of a bottle job as Arsenal bottling a title. In fact, it's not as bad because Arsenal going up for 8 points clear of Man City, but sorry, it's worse than Arsenal because we were 8 points clear of Man City. What I'm saying is Liverpool were 13 points behind Man United. 13. Yeah, we're 8 points behind a quality team. Liverpool ain't quality this season. They've been beaten everywhere this season. Yeah, so for Man United to have Casemiro in the team, Lissandro in the team, 200 million spent, relying solely on Rashford, constantly playing players that are playing crap, and then putting Luke Shaw in at centre-back when he should have been not even in the squad. He should have been binned in the summer. He's done all right at centre-back at times, but look what he did at Brighton.
So, and that was a stupid mistake. But Luke Shaw's actually been one of our better performers.
It's not a mistake, Terry. He's been there 9 years and he's constantly doing this stupidness.
I understand that. But this is what I spoke to you about last week when we got into that debate about sacking managers when they fail. And I had a deeper think about what you said afterwards. And I understand where you're coming from a overarching standard. If you fail, you should be sacked. The problem is, if you took your methodology through to its nth degree, Premier League alone, you're sacking between 15 and 19 managers every year.
How many have been sacked this season?
Okay, but let me make my point though. But you would never create continuity at any football club. You would never create how Arsenal will move forward right now as an example. You would never allow a manager to get his feet under the table long enough to build a team in his image to be able to compete, because eventually, again, you might be able to go from Ten Hag and go, right, let's find another manager who has a similar style of football that can take these players and move them forward. But because the only managers you said last week you should keep are ones with a track record of consistently winning. It's only really Klopp and Pep, and you could argue Conte, but he couldn't stay this time at Spurs, that would be able to survive not winning the Premier League in any one season because nobody else has a CV like them. But if they're not given long enough at any one particular club, they'll never be able to build a CV up that is strong enough.
I totally get that. But at the same time,
so I need to finish my point. Sorry, mate. So from my point of view, and this is where it's all about balance for me. Sometimes a manager deserves to be sacked. Antonio Conte this year, forget his track record. You could tell he lost that dressing room. And I think it's those little elements that are key. Has a man lost the dressing room? Can it be recovered in the transfer window? I believe with Man United, you throw in, and I'm just going to name players. It doesn't need to be them specifically. Costa in goal, Kim Min Jae at the back on the right-hand side. You throw a Caicedo or a De Jong in the middle and a Harry Kane up front. I totally believe next year Man United will not lose a single game as badly as what City battered us and what Liverpool battered us. And I believe our away record will improve by about 10 to 15 points. I believe we'll have I honestly think we can improve our points total next year by about 20 points just with those additional players and the manager being able to be a little braver and play style the same at home as he does away on a more regular basis. However, if we buy those players and we don't improve, then I'll become a little bit more like, well, they've got to look at this guy's job now because 11, 12 players are his. The squad is more his than it was. And we haven't seen, again, another significant jump and improvement. And I just think it's about balance and not panicking. I do see a lot of United fans online turning, but often with those United fans, they're the ones that rode out too big. They're the ones that are like, quads come in, league title come in. And then what happens is, it's very nice.
They put their expectations up to win 4 and then they ain't winning none. So now they look addicted.
But this is what happens, right? They put out that expectation. They go, yeah, they then get embarrassed because it didn't happen and it was never happening. And then instead of taking the L like a man, they turn on the manager or players. It happened to Ollie. Most of the guys that
players deserve some of it, though. I can't lie, right? All of this notion that you can't cuss a player is a load of rubbish, Terry, yeah? Right? And the reason I say that, I was watching, it was on Sky Sports YouTube earlier. I know we're going to come to Madrid in a minute, yeah? I was watching Ramon Calderon do his interview with Sky Sports on there. And I didn't even know this. Right, he said that Real Madrid in the last 62 years have only had one manager survive more than 3 years. That's insane.
Who's that?
But this is what my point. Somebody mentioned about De Zerbi a minute ago. Oh, yeah, does that mean you'd get rid of De Zerbi? Let me tell you something about De Zerbi right now. Excuse me. He's won 16 out of 32 games. Why is he getting so much praise? 16. I've got his record up now. If you go to Sassuolo, in fact, if you go to Shakhtar and Sassuolo, yeah, Sassuolo is last season at Sassuolo. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. 28% win percentage. The season before was 40%. The season before was 34%. He was at Shakhtar and his win record was 17%.
Can I tell you why though? Jamie Carragher brought this up. Did you watch? I don't know if you probably didn't watch it because it's being in Spain. But I watched Monday Night Football last night, and I actually loved watching. I love watching football now where I don't have to do match reactions because obviously I love my job, but it's nice to be able to watch a game and not have to go live afterwards. And I was listening to Jamie Carragher talk to Martin O'Neill, and Jamie Carragher said something that really stood out to me. He said that if you just look at the Premier League now, Klopp and Pep are the ones that are looked at as the great managers. Nearly always, we disregard other managers as just being average or okay, or like you're doing, like what's he achieved? The problem is, at any one time, it's only ever a very minute amount of managers that achieve brilliance and greatness. It doesn't mean the others are not brilliant. And you think that he was talking to Martin O'Neill. Actually, look at Martin O'Neill's record. The clubs he managed, he did win trophies. He won 2 League Cups with Leicester before Leicester were this Leicester we've recently seen. He actually had a pretty good CV. Comparing it to Fergie or Wenger or Pep, it does look awful. But in the grand scheme of all the thousands of managers in the world, they're still at a very high level. And to your point around like the aim of elite level sport is to win, and I understand that. The problem that you have is that it's impossible for some clubs to get to a standard that an Arsenal or United. Well, I'll tell you why it is in the short term. Okay, it's a longer term project. Transfer fees are not even the biggest issue of buying the best players. It's salaries. So to compete with this Man City team, legitimately, and beat them to the title, look at the quality of goalkeeper through to striker that you need. You look at how much money that level of player was. There's 2 things here that you're never going to solve. There are not that many of a standard of player of that good to allow all 20 teams in the Premier League to be able to win the league. because there's not enough of that quality player around the world. There's only going to be a handful.
Oh, I get that. But does that stop them winning a League Cup?
Hang on, though. But then on top of that, right, they can't afford the wages of these people because they don't make enough money as a business. They're not a big enough club. They don't have enough fans. So, but they can't afford the wages. They would go out of business.
Brighton made 84 million profit in the summer, mate. So what are you chatting about? Why couldn't they reinvest that?
Well, but they will reinvest it. They will improve.
Well, they haven't because they've got no track record since they've been in the Premier League of reinvesting their sales money.
They've
proven it.
I understand, but what you've got to do is build sustainability. Clubs just can't go out and go, right, we're going to buy. Like, they can't go out this summer and go, right, we're going to buy. We're going to Casado a new deal at 200 grand a week. We're going to go and buy Declan Rice from West Ham for 120 million and pay him 300 grand a week. And we're going to go and sign Osherman from Napoli on 300 grand a week and for 150 million pounds. They would go out
because they've made profit every year they've been in the Premier League. They're guaranteed to 79 million in TV money next season because every 20 teams in the league get 79 mil. They'll earn over 100 million next season, Brighton. This season they've probably earned maybe 130, 140, depending on where they finish in the league from TV money. Yeah, so they've earned about 130, right? Add in the 84 million profit they made in the summer. Yeah, that's now over 200 million. You're telling me they can't reinvest that? Plus next season's money.
So they
telling me they can't do that? Of course they can. They don't want to.
So again, they can reinvest it. They can't reinvest enough instantly to be able to compete with City. So I
get that, Terry, but they can go for a League Cup. They can go for an FA Cup.
So they went for an FA Cup and they got beaten by Man United, who spend significantly.
If they'd invested the 84 million, they might have won it.
So let me finish. If you let me finish, I think Lee. If you let me finish, I think if you let me finish. You've not rattled me. If you let me finish, I think you'll agree with me. This is what you do.
Let me talk.
I think you will agree with me. I think that if they invest it over the course of time, you can start to look at those standards. You look at Leicester; they were top 4 teams. Well, they should have been a top 4 team, but then they just didn't keep investing at the same level, and they've fallen off, and now it's all crumbled away.
Good, so I have to get relegated.
So I get your point that if in 5-6 years' time, Brighton are back now around the relegation area, and they didn't reinvest this money and keep steadily improving their squad, keep buying better players and better contracts, and keep getting better and better, then you have a point. But I think short-term view, like you said last week, Bournemouth staying up is failure because they didn't win the league. I think from a short-term point of view,
I said they didn't win a trophy. Them staying in the Premier League is not an achievement.
But this is why, based on your logic, it has to be. You need to maintain the income of the Premier League to keep.
I get that. But at the same time, they don't invest the income of the Premier League into their team. I'll give you a prime example. I'll give you a prime example here. Yeah,
Brighton Forest have.
Villarreal are 5th in La Liga.
Right.
Are you telling me, that they won the Europa League and then got to a Champions League semi, albeit they didn't win it? They were winning it at one stage against Liverpool, but they beat Bayern Munich and they beat Juve and they got out the group with you and Atalanta in it, yeah? And they qualified for that tournament by winning the Europa League against Arsenal and Man United, right? Now go and have a look at their income. Their income's a fraction of West Ham, Everton, Leeds, Brighton. So why do they win a trophy? How are they competing? How comes Osasuna, who were 10th in the league, managed to get to a Copa del Rey final? How comes last year Betis won it? How comes Valencia, who were about to get relegated, in the final last year? Why do these teams take their cup seriously in England when they've got more money to invest, Terry? Let me finish. Let me talk. Let me talk. They invest. They know what their capabilities are in that league. They know they can't compete financially with the Madrids and Barca. So what they do is they take their cup competition seriously, because that is the aim, to try and win trophies. They're not going to win the league. They ain't got the finances for that. It's not like here or in England where they split the money equally. They don't in Spain. So they have to find a way to win a trophy somehow, some way. In England, it's, if we just stay in the Premier League, we're going to get 100-odd million again next season. Oh, don't matter. They're just there to nick the money. They ain't interested in winning trophies, these clubs. Because if they were, Terry, Brighton would have invested that 84 million profit that they spent and gone and bought 3 or 4 players of a higher level. Instead of going and finding a lad who bagged the screamer the other day against Chelsea for 9 million, they could have gone out there and gone and got a player for 39 million. That might have been a lot better. Yeah, that could have elevated them a little bit further and got into a final.
So I understand your point on Brighton, but we're talking generally across football here. So Nottingham Forest, as an example, have invested a lot of their Premier League money into their squad. They haven't won either. But when you look, though, when you look at the FA Cup and the League Cup, in the last 4 or 5 years, Palace have been in an FA Cup final, Watford have been in an FA Cup final, Leicester were in an FA Cup final and won it. Okay, Newcastle have been in the Carabao Cup final, Villa have been in the final, Southampton have been in the final in recent years. So teams, Swansea, it was 10 years ago now, won it. So a lot of the teams outside of what you call the traditional top 4 or top 6 have got themselves to finals, but they're not all. They can't. This is my point. They can't all do it every single year because there's too many of them to make a final every year. Plus, you've got the top 6 in the league that financially and generally speaking have much better managers and much better squads and are able to knock them out. I do get your point, but I think you're generalizing across all clubs too much because a lot of teams do invest Premier League money into their teams and squads.
Sorry, West Ham's income is more than Juventus's income.
Yeah, but
West Ham can't compete.
But they've spent
more money than they've got more money than Juve.
Hang on, but West Ham has spent loads of money.
So they better win the Conference League, otherwise they fail.
And they're trying to do it now. If they don't win that,
and I rate them for that. And I do think they've got a chance.
Lee, you're so right. So if they don't win that Conference League, you can look at that as failure because they're like for like. But if West Ham were in the Champions League and they were up against Man City tonight and they went out, that isn't treated as the same level as failure. If next year Man United are in the Europa League and we go out in semi-finals, it'll be looked at as failure. If we're in the Champions League and we lose in the semi-finals, it'll be disappointing, but it's a semi-final of a Champions League. The standard is a little bit
Man United have fallen. Wow.
Well, we have fallen.
I didn't realise it was that bad.
But it is that bad. You know Man United have fallen. That's why we...
Because too many people have that opinion, Terry.
No, no. It's about progression. Man United haven't challenged for a Premier League title or been to a semi-final of a Champions League for over a decade. We haven't challenged for a Premier League for 10 years. So we have fallen. Now, the standard is to get back there, but everybody will engage their brain and say, we're never going to go from where we are now, where we were at the end of last season, in the pits, in the mud, uncompetitive, woeful squad creation, terrible board running the club, leaking ceiling, piss on the floor in the changing rooms, to being one of the top 2, top 3 teams in Europe within a year. That growth doesn't happen when you've been down there so long. If you're brilliant, drop off for a year, you can come back.
You've got the spending capacity of Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. Yes. Yeah, you've got a bigger income than Bayern Munich, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, you're up there with Real Madrid. So how comes that you can't just go out there, get a proper manager? Maybe you've got one. I don't know. Maybe he does get you in the top 4, and maybe he does win the FA Cup, and then all of a sudden it's looking rosy, right? But why can't Man United go out there, rip up Harry Maguire's contract in January or the summer, and say, "Piss off, mate! You ain't the captain anymore. Get out." They did it with Ronaldo.
So they are going to sell again. Maybe you should read the newspapers you don't like. He is going in the summer. He's gone.
Yeah, I know he's going in the summer. My point is, why has he been there all season?
Well, because this is what you're talking about. Earlier on, you're talking about like clubs should go out and spend and do what they want to do. If Man United just went out and ripped up the contract, which means paying off all the players for all the money, all the players who don't want him. Hang on, but you've got to find someone who's willing to buy him for the right money. Because again, if you don't, one of Man United's biggest problems, and we do this cycle every few years to maintain FFP, we overspend and undersell, and then we get left like we were in January, where we have no money left. So you sell Harry Maguire for 20 million less than you could get for him in the summer. If you do that to 5 players, that's 100 million pounds out of your kitty gone, which means you might not be able to renew a contract, which means you might miss out on a signing that you want, which you need then to win. So you can't just cut your nose off to spite your face in life. It's a very bad way of operating business. But for me...
You did that with Ronaldo, didn't you?
So what we did with Ronaldo was different. There was a mutual consent. So his contract value from November through to the end of the season was more valuable than selling him. So even if we sold him, he would have gone, well, I still want to be paid my money, right? Because the contract is there. So it was a rock and a hard place. So Man United did a deal, which meant we actually saved more money than we would have made through selling him because nobody was going to pay the asking price to pay his contract off. So it became a mutual decision where everybody benefited from it. So we made money still from that deal as opposed to losing. And that's important.
So what makes you think that you're going to get loads more money for Harry Maguire in the summer with another year off of his contract, than you could have got in January or last summer? What makes you think you get more money for him? You could have sold him last summer.
I'll tell you as to why. Last summer he was absolutely in the pitch. Nobody made a single offer to buy him. Okay, so there was no money being offered. So the club has taken a risk. Now, this is what you do in business. You take a risk. The risk is we'll play him in some games. We'll try and build, again, this is all PR. We'll try and build up the PR. We'll try and get a good feel around him. We'll talk about him nicely. We'll talk about him like we want to keep him to create a bit more scarcity. And maybe we'll get some nibbles from people. If it doesn't work and we end up selling him for a lower price, then the gamble hasn't paid off. But if we end up getting a price above 20, 25 million pounds for him, and you end up bringing in 30 million, 35 million for him, then you've walked away and you've made additional money that can be reinvested. So these things are always a gamble, but it's one that Man United felt they had to take. Equally, that's nothing to do with Erik ten Hag. That is to do with the way Man United have been run with our owners.
It is to do with Ten Hag. Ten Hag is the manager of Manchester United Football Club. He is part of the transfer committee.
He's not. He's the coach at Manchester United.
Well, either way, he's still part of the transfer committee, whether he's coach, manager, or whatever.
But he'll make recommendations. If the board don't follow through with them, that's on them. At the end of the day, you know, he had to. They were the ones. So he has had some sway. Like he's begged them in the past. Like, I don't want Rabiot. I need you to go and get me Casemiro. And they've listened and they've gone and got it done.
Well, no, apparently the story was you were there for someone else and they offered you Casemiro.
Okay, well,
you were there for someone else and then they offered you Casemiro.
I haven't read that particular story.
My point is, when the manager takes a job at any football club, surely the first, especially when they're going in the summer, surely one of the first questions any sensible manager would ask is, right, how much money have we got available? Yeah. And are we going to close deals for X, Y, Z and player? Because I've got a list of players I want, and I've seen enough of these players that you've got here, and I want to get rid of these players. At that point, you know which direction that club's going in before you've accepted the job.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe they've lied to him then. So if they've lied to him, why is he still sticking up for him? I'm not just talking about Ten Hag. I'm talking about a lot of managers. Conte was the same.
I'll tell you why, though, they'll do this, because I understand, like, and maybe you have this logic of like, I'm just going to call them out. But at the end of the day, Ten Hag wants to be successful at Manchester United. And whilst the Glazers are the owners, and the situation has changed over the course of the year, and he actually called them out in a press conference 3 days ago. I don't know if you watched it, where he spoke about a club like Man United needs to have money available. We need to go out and sign the best players, and I need to be able to sign the best players. He didn't say the Glazers are a bunch of tosspots and they're tight. Okay,
so if he doesn't get the players he wants in the summer, he's walking then. No, of course he ain't. Sit there until he gets sacked.
Yeah, maybe not. But again, let me ask you a question then. So do you expect, if a manager doesn't get something they want, should they all just quit their jobs? Because I say that because every time I've listened to managers speak about their experiences at clubs, even clubs they were successful at, they will all say, hey, I wanted that and the club couldn't put it on.
It's give and take. At the same time, your job.
But so you know, I want to answer on the question. So if a manager doesn't get what he wants, so do you think he should just go straight into a press conference, slag the board off, and quit?
Well, no, not immediately, no. But at the end of the day, if he's been told you can have X, Y, Z when you're coming to my club, yeah, and we're going to employ you, you want this, we'll get you this, or we'll guarantee this, or we'll guarantee that, and you're getting guarantees, and then them guarantees don't go through, call them out all day long. Jose's done it, Conte's done it. Other managers have done it, Terry.
So I understand calling them out, but this is the point. We don't know what the promises are and are not. If he said, I want to sell Maguire, and they've said, yeah, but we're only going to do it for the right price, maybe they've agreed on that. So there's a mutual element here. At the same time, they say, we're going to sell Maguire for you, and no one puts a bid in. That's nobody at Man United's fault. You've just got to ride that out. That's the way it works. And the point I'm making is I feel like you're looking for every which way to be negative about Ten Hag. Opposed to being,
it's not about Ten Hag. Yeah, it's not about.
Well, you mentioned Ten Hag, and
I mentioned Ten Hag on the video on a different my other channel, my second channel. I mentioned them there. Should he be sacked if he don't get top four? Yeah, that's rattled fans all over the world crying. Oh, why should he be sacked? Well, because he's won the Carabao Cup. Cool, great, but he's bottled a 13-point lead. So Liverpool, by the end of this week, they'll be fifth. Yeah, because you ain't beating Wolves. Yeah, and they're going to win their 3 games. Have you seen their 3 games? They're winning all 3. You need 9 points out of 12. You ain't getting 9. Where you're playing, you'll be lucky to get 3. Yeah, but if he bottles top 4, he should be sacked. This is Manchester United. Yeah, well done. You've won us the Carabao Cup. Cool, great. Put that in the cupboard. Thank you very much. Now it's Fergie said it all the time. Terry, you know more about Man United than I ever will. Yeah, you supported them for donkeys. Yeah, Fergie used to say, "Lovely, jubbly Dustin. They're going to celebrate for the night."
I'm confused, though, Lee. I'm confused, though, Lee. Because you've sat on here before and gone mad at fans for saying top 4 is nothing. It's all about trophies. Yeah. Now you're saying that the trophy means nothing and he should be sacked for not making the thing that you said isn't important. Chasing the money.
Terry, he's won you a trophy. I'll explain it to you. He's won you a trophy. He's won you a trophy. Cool. That is the aim of elite sport. He's completed the aim of elite sport in that particular competition. He's got you to another final. I'm not saying sack him. I'm saying there's a debate there to be had. But if you don't get your top 4, he should be sacked. Because Manchester United are not in the Champions League.
So top 4 is an achievement that's
no. You're twisting my words because you ain't letting me finish. Right? And I'll give you the easiest way to balance it, yeah? Real Madrid won the Copa del Rey at the weekend. They're in a Champions League semi. That Copa del Rey they won at the weekend was the 6th trophy Ancelotti's won in 12 months. If he gets knocked out, or even if he gets to the final and loses, or even maybe wins it, he is getting sacked. Why? Why would he get sacked, Terry? He would have won 6 or 7 trophies in 2 years. Why? Because the standards of Real Madrid are up there. The standards of Man United should be up there because it's Manchester United. You're on par with Real Madrid. Let's not play like you're a tiny little club. You're Real Madrid size or more.
So I understand that. I understand. And we've got to get ourselves back to a level.
You've won a trophy. Well done.
Hang on. So we've got to get ourselves back to the standard that Real Madrid are at. We've been away from that for a long, long time because we've fallen off. So I agree that we've got to get back to that standard. But you've sat on this show for 2 years with me and stated that getting top 4 isn't an achievement. It's about winning trophies. Now, not getting top 4 is a sackable offence. That doesn't make sense to me. I think that means you've been capping all along. Because I think getting the top 4 is massively important along with trophies. But you've stated before, don't want top 4.
Top 4 is irrelevant unless you're going to go and try and win it. Yeah, that's it. And my team don't bother trying to win it. They're only there to make up the numbers. Man United have actually won it and actually have a better record in it than we ever will.
Right.
Yeah, so the idea is you get in the Champions League, you spend a few quid and actually go and try and win it. So and that's my point. By getting into the Europa League, you're now not going for the biggest competition, so it's a failure.
So if Man United do make the top 4, because I believe with the right investment we could do well in it, does that mean I'm allowed to celebrate it if I think we can win it?
You can do what you want. I couldn't care less, tell.
But you're like me, you do care because we give opinions on football matters. If a Man United fan celebrates being in the top 4 now, because we believe we'll spend to try and win it.
Celebrate what they want. They've won a trophy.
But you think that's okay?
They have to get in that Champions League next season and go and win it, or try and win it. Get to the final.
So at least we've established that making the top 4 is an achievement.
No. Champions League football should be the bare minimum requirement every season. We're in the chat. It should be accepted. I'll give you an example. The Ramon Calderon at Real Madrid's interview on Sky Sports today, he said, when we sign players, they come to Real Madrid, former president, they come to Real Madrid. It's not seen as success to win the Champions League. It is an obligation. His words. Yeah. What has happened to your football club that you're sitting there going, oh, well, we shouldn't sack him if he does. No, it should be an obligation you get in the Champions League regardless of everything.
So I look at it from this perspective, right? I understand where Real Madrid are. But I think the reality that you're missing is that Man United are Man United by name only in 2023 and finances. We need to get back to that point. And in my belief and my understanding, because I don't know of an example in top flight football where a giant club who has fallen off for more than 10 years, in the space of 1 year, has gone back to being one of the elite teams in the world and sustained it. So Inter Milan may be an example. I don't know of one who have dropped off and been nowhere. And even last year,
Atletico Madrid's another one.
Okay, so they have gone through a point. So Atletico Madrid have gone from being an obscure team for over a decade to be, and within a space of a year, just gone from being pure shit to being one of the top 2, top 3 teams in Europe.
Well, they have. Go and have a look at them.
No, I'm asking. I'm not.
Milan's the same. You're trying to make out that this is revolutionary.
Stop! I don't want to get into a fight.
Ask me a question.
Lee, because you can't. Because I want to say something to you. I want to say something. I'm not challenging you. I'm asking you a genuine question.
But then you don't let me answer it.
Yeah, because you're so again, you've answered it. So, have they done that? When did they do that?
Inter Milan won a treble, Terry. Do you not remember that?
So the year before they won the treble. Hang on.
So you've asked me a question. I can't answer it.
No, because I'm trying to get to the bottom. So the year before they won the treble, what were they doing?
Fuck all. Look at AC Milan. How long ago were AC Milan champions? They won the league last season, and they're in a Champions League semi-final this season. Is that sustaining it? Because they dropped off for God knows how long, because Juve won 10 in a row. Then Inter won it. Yeah, then Napoli have just won it. How many years did AC Milan go without winning the title? Yeah, and now they've won a title last season. They're not winning it this season, but they're in the Champions League semi-final tomorrow. Is that sustaining it? How can AC Milan do it?
Hang on a minute.
Hang
on a minute. They did the treble. So they did the treble in 2010, Inter Milan. But in 2009, 2008, and 2007 and 2006, they won the league. So they won that treble in 2008 after winning the previous 4 leagues. So they didn't go from being shit to winning the treble in a year. That was 5 years of building, Lee.
Right there. In 2006, you said they won the league, yeah?
Yes.
Before that, when did they previously win the league?
They won the league prior to that in 1989. However,
okay, stop right there. Stop right there.
No. Because I know what you're going to do, Lee. Let me say this. What were they doing in 2000? Were they a shit team in 2005? Were they were they a mid-table team that was shit in 2005? So this is what I'm talking. No, but this is what I'm saying to you. Until your point about Man United, let's bring it back. To say Man United should go from being where we were last year to where Real Madrid are now in one jump, you need to provide me with examples of teams that were shit forever or shit for the last 10 years and then went to being one of the best teams in the world inside a season and maintained it. Because I don't think it's happened more than once or twice.
1989,
no, I haven't.
They didn't win a league till 2000.
No, I didn't say winning a league. But where were they in 2005? You don't even know. You have to care because that's the starting point. The starting point isn't
second, first. No, well, they didn't win it. Where was they that season then? Tell me, because you got the stats up in front of you. So from 1989 to 2006, they didn't win a league.
No, hang on a minute, because I'll go and look at it, right? I need to go and look at the league, right? So Serie A, as an example, Serie A, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm asking you to give me an example, and you don't know.
They finished third in 2005. Big up the chat.
Again, there we go. So they were third, and then they won a league. They weren't finishing fifth and shit. They didn't go from being dog shit.
Where did you finish last season?
We finished, was it sixth last year, seventh?
Okay. So what, fifth would be an achievement this season then?
No, it would be a slight improvement, but I'm not going to be, that isn't the point I'm making. The point you've said is that we finished sixth last year. For us to go from sixth to being one of the best teams in Europe in a year, I think it's unprecedented.
Okay, well, Napoli have done it this season.
Where were they last year?
They weren't first, I know that much.
They were in the Champions League this year, so they must have been a top 4 team last year.
Wow.
So my point is,
we were Champions League every year for 20 years, Terry. Who cares?
That has nothing to do with your point.
Unless you're going to go and try and win it, it's irrelevant.
That's got nothing to do with your point. The point is, you said we've got to be like Real Madrid, but we haven't been anywhere near Real Madrid's level for a decade. We've got to grow to get back there. Your problem is, no, it's not about accepting it. I want to get there. Your problem is you want to ignore the bit in the middle, the hard work to get back to the top. And all the teams you mentioned that are brilliant went through a stage of improvement to get to that level. But you're saying we shouldn't be allowed to have one. That's bullshit, Lee.
Terry, you've not won a title for how many years? 10, 11 years? 10, 11 years.
What's your point?
So in that time, you've had, what, 5 managers?
Right.
5 managers, yeah?
The sacking manager doesn't always work if your club ain't run right. Yes, go on.
Well, hold on a sec. You had a manager that won you a trophy in Europe and a League Cup in the same season, and your fans hated him. Mad, isn't it? It's almost like your fans are accepting mediocrity again.
That's irrelevant to do with the point we're making. Make your point.
Well, it's not, because you had a serial winner at your football club that actually came in and won stuff, and then you went on a 5-year trophy drought after you sacked him.
Yeah, and who have I blamed for that? The way the club is run. And I've called that out.
The only reason he got sacked is because your fans were going
nuts. No. He got sacked for calling out players and the owners in the way that you said they should, and that led to the problem. So the reason he got sacked is the reason you're what you're saying Ten Hag should do. And you're blaming the club for doing it. You're in a mess here, Lee. You're in a mess.
Why are players not allowed to be called out?
You're in a mess, Lee. You're in a mess.
Terry, why are players not allowed to be called out for poor performance after poor performance after poor?
They are allowed to. They are allowed to be.
Weight. How many years ago did he mention about Luke Shaw? But he wasn't
sacked for that. He was sacked for having a go at a player for being at the birth of his child. That's ridiculous. Do you mean
permission for that?
Yes, he was, and he moaned about it.
Whatever.
So
he's allowed to moan.
The way he spoke about Pogba publicly was a disgrace.
Terry, he has every right to call out players that had Man United in the longest trophy drought for donkeys. Yeah, then he's gone in there, won you 2 trophies.
But they weren't. Hang on a minute. I'll still school you here. He wasn't calling out players in our longest trophy drought ever. When Jose joined, we were the FA Cup champions. We literally won a trophy the year that he joined, and Pogba was his signing, won a trophy straight away.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so who did you sack? Who was it?
Hang on a minute. So he wasn't stop. He wasn't calling out players who were on our longest trophy drought in ever. They'd won 3 trophies in 2 seasons. Those players. He was calling out people that he'd fallen out with on a personal level. Now listen,
why did you sack that manager then?
Hang on, Lee.
But you're asking me questions that I can't answer. You've said to me
things that aren't true. I didn't ask you a question. I was making a point that you were wrong about something.
Sorry, you just said that you were the FA Cup holders when Jose got the job. You'd won 2 trophies in 2 seasons before he got the job. So why did that manager who won 2 trophies get sacked to give him the job?
What's that got to do with Jose calling people out?
A question. Why did you sack a manager that's won 2 trophies to give another manager a go who then won you 2 trophies and then you sacked him? But now you're sitting there loading up 10 half.
Because he didn't make the top 4.
Oh, okay. After
2 years, not 1. So you're wrong again, Lee. He had 2 years to do it. And what did I say? If we give this manager a second year and he fouls again, then I'd look at it differently. So there's nothing different coming out of my mouth. And even with Jose, he called out the management and he was right about some things. But how you go about things in life is important. And he became unprofessional and was disgustingly nasty about Man United players like Martial and Pogba. And whether he's right or wrong on the principle, your behavior's still got to be right. You've still got to have some decorum and good form. And he didn't. Viewers, please,
very quickly. Sorry, it's very quickly because I'm going to go.
Just going to run out of time otherwise, bro.
No, I know. Very quickly, yeah. I watched an interview. I think it was of Mexico's manager, yeah, in a press conference. Yeah, it was flicked up on Instagram reel yesterday. Yeah, of him in a press conference. Then, if players need to be called out or journalists need to be called out, doesn't matter what club or what country you're representing. Say what you think. Yeah, and if that upsets people, tough. That's why I love Jose. He don't care, mate. Yeah, if he's got something to say, he's saying it. And if you don't like it, he called out Luke Shaw 5 years ago. Everything he said about Luke Shaw still stands today. Yeah, he said about Dele Alli in that all or nothing at Tottenham. Your career's going to pass you by, mate, and it's going to be gone like that, and you're finished.
I hear you, bro. I'm not trying to shut you up. Just that we'll run out of time and we'll have to leave. And we've got some super chats here. First one says, so Lee, based on what you said, what should Ten Hag and United do? We'll come back to that one when he's back. I never thought I'd agree with Terry, yet give him another season. Judgment will eventually come. Thank you, Sully. Ten Hag deserves more time like Ollie got. Lee makes good points that there is more worrying signs with some of the results. Rashford has been class, but it cannot be all put on his shoulders. I agree with that. Dan T also says, correct me if I am wrong, Lee. I'll come back to Lee's one because Lee's not here to answer it. Lee does not represent Arsenal fans, is what Harris said. Guardiola replaced Hart and Bravo. Klopp brought in Alisson. Ten Hag got rid of Leno and Martinez to fit the style he wanted to play. Ten Hag is too scared to get rid of De Gea. Everyone knows Ten Hag can't play his football with him. So I don't necessarily think he's... Again, what I would love to see is, I bet you will see really nice things that were said by those managers about those other goalkeepers. I mean, literally, if I turn around and see... You know, if you just Google now, like, Arteta on Leno... Right? If you just like Arteta on Leno, I bet you'll see a nice quote from Arteta saying he liked him, even though he was going to sort of look beyond him as an example. Ten Hag is out in Ten Hag out is lunacy, needs time to develop. Pep and Klopp didn't win instantly. Judge him properly next season. Slabeb, De Gea, Muxals, Martial out.
So I said about Ollie.
Well, again, my standards are the same. Yeah, but again, my standard, I'm only going to answer for myself. My standards were the same on that.
Oh, that comment very quickly about you said about Leno. Yeah? Go and have a look at Pepe's red card at Leeds and see what Arteta said about Pepe. Yeah.
What?
He cost us the game today. It was a stupid decision what he did. Yeah, and that's unacceptable. Blah, blah, and just went off on a mad rant for about 3 minutes cussing Pepe. Yeah. Then when Xhaka does it against Burnley, oh, well, he was just showing passion for the shirt. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you know, yeah. If that is the case, sure, Barca should sack Xavi. I don't think they will.
He's just won a title, mate. What are you chatting about?
This here says, "Love."
What's he talking about?
Love you, Lee, but your logic, but by your logic, you won't celebrate any subscription milestone on your channel until you get the YouTube Diamond reward.
Mate, it's subs for show, views for dough, mate. I've said that from day one. It's what it is.
Terry, Lee is the reason you lost your hair. Nah, Lee weren't the reason.
Terry has got bald and then regrown again since I've been doing this show. It's mad.
So Lee, based on what you've said, what should United, just very quickly, because we have got to move on subjects, what should United and Ten Hag do?
What should they do?
Yeah.
Well, Ten Hag should have been Harry Maguire as soon as he walked through the door.
Pretty much.
And if he ain't going to bin him straight away, and he said everyone's got a clean slate, which is just the standard waffle from every manager that takes a job. Oh, they're all on a clean slate. Yeah, well, surely by January, he should have binned him. He definitely shouldn't be having the armband. Yeah, putting Weghorst in number 10 is just lunacy to me. Yeah, relying solely on Rashford to score you goals is pathetic. Like, Scott McTominay still at the football club. Luke Shaw a new contract. Why? David De Gea new contract. Why? There's a lot of things that he's done wrong this season, mate.
No, I agree. There's definitely some things to be criticised about. There we go. I want to ask you something, though. It is Arsenal related. There's talk today that West Ham are going to demand £120 million for Declan Rice. Should your club do that?
Ain't my money, so yeah. In my money, I don't know why people are so rattled by the price. Who cares? If we're paid 120 million for Caicedo in January, we might want a title, Terry. It's what it is, isn't it? Ain't my money. I don't care why people sit there and say, oh, well, that's too much money. Well, is it your money? No, it ain't. So why does it matter? The club have got the money. The club are charging one of the highest season ticket prices on the planet, which is going up again 5% next season after it went up 5% this season. Yeah, off the back of finishing 5th last season, they put out 5% this season. And off the back of not winning nothing this season, it's 5% more again. Why? So, yeah, they should spend it. Yeah, I don't just want Rice, by the way. I want Rice and Caicedo. Yeah, because this myth, and it is a myth, that Sky Sports have peddled out for about 10 years or more, about you could get top 4, get in the Champions League, you can attract world-class players. Cool. Well, I expect to see the very best coming through the door in the summer then. Yeah. Apparently, we get loads more money, Terry, and we can attract the best players. They want to play in the Champions League. So I fully expect to see the best young talent and the best talent walking through the door in the summer. Because for the last 6 years, we ain't been in it. That's all I keep hearing. Oh, yeah, but we have to get in the Champions League to get better players. Cool. So how many world-class players then? I can count on one hand how many world-class players we've signed at this football club. I can count on one hand that how many were world-class on the day that we signed them. Not ones that turned out world-class later down the road. Ones that we signed on the day that were world-class. I can count on one hand. So this myth about Champions League attracts better players. No, it don't. No, it don't. Yeah, we signed Aubameyang, who was one of the best strikers in Europe when we were in the Europa League. Yeah, we signed Thomas Partey in the Europa League. Man United signed Zlatan and Pogba in the Europa League. Chelsea signed Conte and N'Golo Kante, finishing 10th. So, yeah, maybe 15 years ago it helps, but not anymore. The money in the Premier League is ridiculous. So Alexis Sanchez, that was a world-class player we signed. Yeah, Mesut Ozil, when we signed him, the day we signed him was world-class. Yeah, and Sol Campbell. That's it. Who else have we signed that was world-class on the day that we signed him? So this myth about Champions League gets you better players and this and that, yada, 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 whatever. No, it don't. Yeah, but in terms of the price, well, it's gone up 50 million from when he gave his word to Arteta back in January, wanted to finish the season with West Ham, told Pep no, told Real Madrid no, gave his word to Arteta. Well, cool. Stump up the money then.
Well, this is always what was going to happen. And full disclosure on the article, it also states that West Ham would look at 100 million plus a player as well, or vice versa. Like the player's better, then it will take some money.
I can give them a load of players, mate. Sambi Lokonga, he can go. El Neni can go. Eddie can go. Yeah, Nuno Tavares can go.
But this is where it becomes interesting for Arsenal, because also I've seen a few gooners online. Oh, we're not going to pay him the 250 wages. Well, you will, because he's just turned down 200 grand a week to stay at West Ham. No one's going to turn down 200 grand a week at West Ham and then accept less at a bigger, richer Champions League club. It isn't going to happen. Wherever he goes,
I disagree with that, actually. I think he would come to Arsenal for about the same sort of dough. Because he wouldn't have to relocate. He wouldn't have to relocate because it's a London club. We're a bigger club. It's Champions League football, which apparently he wants. So, yeah, if they offered him 160, 150, 180, I reckon he'd take it anyway. Yeah, West Ham are trying to keep their top boy. Of course they are, but let's be real. Right? He has outgrown that club. He's too good for them. Yeah, I hope they win the Conference League, by the way. Yeah, I've got no problem with West Ham whatsoever. No issues with them at all, but I hope they win it. Yeah, I hope they win it. Yeah, because
I'd like to see West Ham win it, to be fair, because
win a trophy. So it'd be nice to see them win a trophy. Last time they won a trophy was against Arsenal in 1980.
One of my grandparents, he was a West Ham fan, so like he's been dead since 1994. But like I'd like to see him do it just because of that, really, and stuff.
But I did say to you as well, weeks ago, last week, week before, in January, we ain't signing Declan Rice.
You really don't think he'll do it?
Nope. Any player that we're linked to for a long, long time, we don't sign. Vlahovic, linked to him, two transfer windows, didn't sign him. Mudryk, 2 windows, didn't sign him. I could go through about 50 players, Terry, over the last 20 years.
Where do you think he will go?
Man City. And I reckon Calvin Phillips will go the other way. I reckon they'll do a player plus cash. And let's be real, Calvin Phillips walks straight in the starting 11 if Rice leaves. And Rice challenges Rodri, and they can fight on even more fronts. They can fight on all of them next season.
Do you feel like a few Arsenal fans I speak to that think they'll get him don't think he walks straight into your team, Declan Rice?
Why?
I don't know. I think.
No, sorry, I forgot, because they're so in love with this redemption of Granit Xhaka. They will declare. Listen to this. I've got to read these out, Terry. This is what I have to deal with as an Arsenal fan, mate, because this fan base is tapped. Yeah, it is actually tapped. Right, so where are we? Where are we? Let me find this real quick. Here we go. I need to see this man play in Champions League football in Arsenal colours. Patrick Timmins. Weird child. Weird.
Weird child.
Weird. Very, very weird. Where was the other one? Oh, somebody tagged me on it on Insta. Yeah, where is it? 1 second. Mate, this is hilarious. Some of the crap these people come out with is just funny, mate. Yeah, honestly, it is funny. Yeah, look at this one about Odegaard. Came up with a new Odegaard chant in the shower. Excuse me? That's what he's written. I'm not going to sing the song. But...
It's crazy. The thing is, I actually think if you bring in two top midfielders, maybe not the price of Declan Rice, I think it'll be Jack. Look, you'll get.
Xhaka definitely.
Xhaka's going to go. Xhaka will go.
I think he might even leave. Right, but this is the other one I wanted to read.
Yeah,
it would break my little heart. The redemption arc isn't fully complete until we see him play under the lights on a Tuesday night for us. He deserves it. Shut up, you absolute wrong'un. But he deserves it. He's been paid 100 grand a week for about 8 years and done absolutely nada at this football club. Yeah, one good season ain't fooling me. Bin him. Yeah, go and get Declan Rice. Go and get Caicedo. Bin him. Leverkusen want him apparently.
That's where me and you agree. Like the level of someone said to me the other night after United's defeat, they were like, would you be angry if this player was sold or that player was sold? And I'm like, not if we improve.
Any of them.
I know, like I'd love certain players to do well, but it's like everyone knows I'm a big fan of Bruno. I know you're not. But if we sign Maddison in the summer, Maddison replaces him, plays better, wins us more. I don't care about Bruno. I care about Man United winning, and that's the difference.
And the thing as well, yeah, like I always say this here. Declan Rice, that we were talking about now, like West Ham have been crap all season. Let's be real, right? They've been rubbish all season. Their best performances this season have come in the Conference League, yeah, which is why they've got to the semi-final, right? And they do have a chance to win it because they're there, right? But Declan Rice has been head and shoulders easily their best player all season.
Oh.
So when a team has a poor season, so I'll give an example. When we played Manchester City the other week, yeah, I said something about Odegaard disappeared, blah, blah. Oh, but the whole team was bad. Okay, well, West Ham's whole team's been bad all season. Rice has still done it all season. Rice has still put in performance after performance all season. Yeah, so a player can do well in a crap team. Matt Letizia used to do it every year. Like literally every year. Like there are players that do look great every week.
Lavie is doing it at Southampton.
Lavie is doing it at Southampton. Perfect example.
On Declan Rice, though, like again, I do think Xhaka may leave if he comes in. Declan Rice is quality, and look, Man United are linked to him today. I hope we take him away from you because I think you throw him into our midfield. I'm honestly torn. I might honestly torn over who I would prefer more, him or De Jong. De Jong, I think, is better.
Rice all day long. De Jong's decent, but
I would take Rice.
I'd go for that Premier League experience. Don't have to get up to the pace of the league. I know it's a risk here. We see it with Torres before from Liverpool to Chelsea. We've seen it with loads of other players, but I would always go with that tried and tested Premier League proven, if you want to call it that, proven player. But having said that, De Jong's a good player, man. Why not get both?
The thing is,
someone can get both.
But mate, someone in the comments said, like, why not let El Neni leave first? The problem that you sometimes have is a bloated squad of genuine first-team players. And El Neni ain't very good, but El Neni would love to stay and be on the bench and just play a bit part role. Well, there we go. Where Xhaka's not going to be willing to play second fiddle, and
that is why Arsenal will never get to the heights that they should get. Yeah, because that is where Pep is a genius. Yeah, Riyad Mahrez, before Haaland went there this season, I think it was a year ago today they signed him, actually, or yesterday, a year ago. But Mahrez was their top goal scorer for 2 years straight. Then Haaland's come in. Mahrez has been on the bench in the biggest games this season. Mahrez was scoring Champions League semis against PSG in that. Yeah, now this season he's on the bench in the big games against Bayern Munich. He'll probably be on the bench tonight. But then he's kept him so tuned in to what Pep wants to do and what City are trying to achieve, that Mahrez comes in for the Sheffield United game and bags hat-trick in that game. Yeah. The very next game was against Bayern Munich, or was it us? I think it was us. Benched.
Yeah.
And that is where you have to manage your squad. So when Arsenal fans sit there and say, we've got a thin squad, well, we only have a thin squad, yeah, because these players that are on the bench aren't willing to sit on the bench and be rotated properly. And then the manager doesn't trust the ones on the bench to rotate them enough out there and to keep them happy.
It's like the news today that United are looking to offer about 13 million more than Kim Min Jae's release clause in order to land him and to beat off other opponents. And a lot of United fans, it's not a priority. I'm like, no, it is. And this is what we're thin at the back. And we're thin at the back because Maguire isn't good enough and he's probably going to be sold. Lindelof is okay. Lindelof is like one of those players. He's okay. Right. He's okay for a handful of games to cover, but not medium to long term. Yeah. Varane's brilliant, but he can't play 2 games a week. So you have to look beyond him. And this is where you have to drop sentimentality. I would love to have 5 years younger Varane at the peak of his powers playing 2 games a week with Lisandro Martinez. But in reality, it isn't plausible. So when I see this news today that Man United, and by the way, I think Min Jae looks, I've watched about 7 or 8 Napoli games this year. I think he looks brilliant. I've seen him play internationally. Think he looks brilliant. Can play out from the back. Great strength. Of course, it's adapting to a new league. There's always that risk there. But I look at this as a signing and think,
he's a good player. There's a lot of good players in that Napoli team, yeah. But the problem with that Napoli team is, like, the biggest moment they bottled it. Like, they've won the league, cool, fair play, and you can't knock them. First title since Maradona Day, yeah. Right, but that left winger they've got, unless he plays for Man City, is flopping at every other club in the league.
Yeah,
that defender you're talking about.
You're saying that winning the league isn't good enough.
No, don't trust.
He's changing it again, guys. Winning the league's bottling it.
All the hipsters were in the bin the other week because nobody gave AC Milan a prayer. I did. I said AC Milan are getting to the final, and it'd be Madrid AC Milan in the final. Football heritage.
And we'll get onto that in a little bit. But look, I like Kim. I look at him. I look at somebody. Listen, give us Kim, give us Rice, give us Costa, and a striker. And Man United, listen, we're going to challenge next year. That's how much I'm backing my manager.
What are Man United cooking?
bro, listen, we'll be fine. I know we will. I say I know we will. I'm about 80% sure.
A Man United scary tale.
Mate, the feeling I've got about Man United under this manager in the direction is exactly how I felt about Arsenal in the summer. And as much as my prediction that you'll win the league hasn't come true, I implore people go back.
It might still come true.
It might do, but I was said in those videos, you become title challengers this year. And my original prediction was you coming 3rd, and I was called crazy. The same, by the way, there's a tweet that went a little mini viral today of mine, and I forgot I even tweeted it. But I knew it was my fault. So I replied to David Ornstein's tweet that a year ago today that it was announced that City were getting Haaland. And I said he'll break all the Premier League goal scoring records, and they're going to be so hard to stop. And you should read the amount of replies saying you're talking nonsense. He'll flop here. And this is the thing. I'm just being honest. And United are moving in the right direction. I've got some super chats here. First one says, this is the most BS British media I've seen. Y'all think Rice over De Jong. Terry, you need to start watching other leagues. See, this is the thing.
I watch La Liga.
You live in Spain and watch La Liga. Listen, I think
Rice. Barcelona have walked the title this season. They have walked it. I think they've only conceded 11 goals. And 2 of them were in their last game. Right? They've been ridiculous. Having said that, yeah, Real Madrid, they've almost given up in the league. They've lost to Girona 4-2.
Yeah,
they've lost to Villarreal, Mallorca, Cadiz.
On the players, this is the thing here, though, Omar. I don't rate Declan Rice that highly because he's got a British passport, because I don't know how to word this in the right way in 2023. I don't judge any single human being based on their passport, their religion, their nationality, their sexual orientation. I judge them based on what I see. And all things being added up, moving to the UK, moving to a new part of town, playing for, actually, in De Jong's case, he wouldn't be playing for a new manager per se. Weighing everything up.
He wouldn't be playing for a bigger club either. Still, the only difference is the standards of Barca are slightly higher.
Weighing it all up, I would just marginally prefer Rice. What you're doing in your head, Omar, is you're thinking, Terry thinks
mental
Rice.
Gymnastics. That's what he's doing.
You're thinking, I'm saying he's clear of De Jong, and that really isn't what I think at all. If we get De Jong, I'm buzzing as well. I think they're both amazing.
De Jong's a fantastic footballer, yeah, and I do think he would fit in at Man United. But why not sign both? We're talking about Man United here. Sign both. Get rid of Fred. Yeah, I like Fred. I think Fred's been all right for Man United. If I was to rate Fred's career at United, I'd give him a 6 out of 10. Yeah, I don't think it's been great, but I don't think it's been bad. Yeah, but get rid of Fred, get rid of McTominay, get rid of Eriksen, go and sign both of them, go and get another forward, go and get a winger that's actually any good and can score goals, and go and get a proper, like Maddison or someone like that, can score goals from midfield as well. Yeah, and then I think you need a centre back and a keeper. You need about 6-7 players.
I hear you, bro. I just want to get through some more of these super chats here. This one says we should raid Barca for Kesse or De Jong. Come on, you gooners.
Kesse's bang overrated.
Yeah, we played against us this year. I wasn't that impressed. Lee, I think you are looking different. Sorry, I think you are looking different. Man United is not the same racehorse. It's two-legged donkey spray
painted like a horse.
Jay says. Xhaka played in the Champions League for Arsenal. These fans, lol. Yeah, he did, didn't he? He must have done. Barca needs money. Could rate them cheap. Yeah, look, Barca could be in trouble this year for a few players, there's no doubt. Keep Maguire. It doesn't matter what centre-back you sign. Ha, ha, ha. Thank you, Anthony. Lee, do you think Arsenal should go for Gavi?
No, bang overrated. Yeah, if you're going to go for anyone out of that midfield, Pedri's the one, mate. Yeah, Gavi's so overhyped, it's unreal. So overhyped. Him and Kesse are so overhyped, it is unbelievable. I don't get it. Yeah, the fullback, Arejo, he's decent. He's all right. Yeah, but again, he's another one. It's like, I don't know. He's a good player, but I think he'd flop in the Premier League, that lad. Yeah, but Gavi, nah, I don't see it, mate. Mad overrated. Pedri's a baller, though. I can't lie. Pedri is absolutely sick.
Yeah, Pedri looks ridiculously good. A penguin knows more about ball than Lee. I love a penguin. With a nice cup of tea, cut the penguin.
Penguino. Yeah, penguino in Spanish, mate.
Penguino. That's what we can start calling you now. The rat's gone. We're going to start calling you Penguino.
Yeah, Penguino, mate.
2019, I was Arteta out when he joined. Now I've warmed to him. I just dislike our owner. Good one season in 10 ain't enough. Rice and Caicedo are good.
Can I just stop right there? I know this guy is in my chat as well, yeah? And he's always in the shows here as well. Big up to you, mate, yeah? Right? But that kind of contradicts the whole thing. Like, you're contradicting yourself in that. Just saying the owner's the problem. You've warmed to Arteta. Yeah? One good season in 10, blah, blah, blah. Rice and Caicedo are good. Cool. Rice and Caicedo are great. We ain't getting either. I've said this since January and last time. We ain't signing either of them. Yeah, we're gonna sign Zubamendi or Anana or some unknown from Brazil. Right? But if you don't rate the owner, then why have you warmed to Arteta? Because he employed Arteta. Yeah. So what are you saying, that Arteta's doing what something that he shouldn't be doing under this ownership? Because let me tell you right now, since Arsene Wenger got sacked, and he did get sacked, he got told he had to leave. Right? Since he got sacked, until this season, we'd outspent every club on the planet. Literally outspent every single club on the planet until Chelsea went and done a madness this summer. And I think Man United have overtaken us now with the money they spent in the summer. Yeah, but we've outspent everyone since Wenger had gone until this year, Terry. Well, the ownership, to be fair, the ownership has only been the full ownership since late 2018.
I did the maths because I was being salty about people talking about the money that had been spent prior to Ten Hag. It was really winding me up. So what I did the maths on the money spent by all the current managers of Arsenal, Liverpool, United, City, plus 5 years before they joined. So Liverpool's 5 years before he joined, and since he's been at the club, 1.1 billion Liverpool have spent. Arsenal, under Arteta and the 5 years before him, just under $1 billion. Man City, 1.6 billion. Man United, 900 million.
Wow, there you go.
And that's just facts. That's just straight.
And that's in the last how long? How many years?
That's it depends on when the manager joined, but basically
last 7 years.
Yeah. So
So Arsenal spent $1 billion in 7 years, but apparently we're in phase 3 and we're overachieving. Get in the bin. Jesus Christ.
I've got a bone to pick with you though. Somebody sent me this question in my DMs. They said you need to call Lee out, Terry, and I said, "Oh, why?
Call me out, Tel. Go on."
They said, "You got to call him out." I said, "Why?" They said Lee said back in September on the football terrace that if Arteta has us competing for a title in May, you'll become Arteta in.
No, I said if Arsenal were still top of the league in May, and we weren't. 1st of May, we weren't top of the league. Unlucky.
What you said?
Yeah, I know what I said.
KJ, we've got to find this clip. I think I don't know. I haven't gone back and checked.
No, I've been. And I actually said it on my channel. I said if Arsenal are top of the league on the 1st of May, I'll buy a bottle of Cristal champagne from 2004.
Yeah, see, the viewers are saying that you said if we're within 6 points in May.
Yeah, and I said I'll call my. Yeah, that's a totally different conversation. I said if Arsenal were top of the league, yeah, in May or May the 1st, if Arsenal were top of the league, yeah, then I'll buy a bottle of Cristal 2004. And I looked at the bottle, it was €420. I said, if we're within 6 points of City, going into May, then I'll relax a bit on Arteta. Yeah, I did say that. But
are you going to now? Are you going to now?
But now I'm flip-flopping because I'm a flip-flop tail, right? But we had it all in our hands. Yeah, we had it all in our hands, Terry. Unacceptable that we lose, that we draw with West Ham and Southampton and Liverpool. Unacceptable. Unacceptable that at Anfield you bring on Kivior instead of Jorginho. Why did we sign Jorginho? To give us a calming presence in midfield. So you play a kid that's played 4 minutes. Come on. I've seen enough. I've seen enough, bro. Yeah, and listen.
You lied. Basically, you're telling us you lied.
No, I didn't lie.
You liar.
No. Opinions change, Terry, based on what you're witnessing. Yeah, and based on new evidence put before you. Yeah, and at that time, Arsenal were flawless. We were doing above and beyond. We were doing the business. I was saying at that point in January, yeah, I said Arteta's overachieving with where we were. Yeah, it's what it is. It's what it is.
Do you know what you're doing here, though?
Play the clip. Go on, play the clip. Go on, play the clip.
I haven't got the clip.
It's in the private chat.
KJ done that.
Play the clip.
I can't play it on the stream because it doesn't work.
Oh, how unlucky.
Hang on.
It's what it is. It's what it is, mate.
Oh, we'll find it later. But
the funny thing is, though, Terry, right? When Man United were 13 points ahead of Liverpool, yeah, and you got battered 7-0, but you were still way clear of Liverpool, and you were top 4. You've been top 4 all season, pretty much, flirting with it with Tottenham, and then you've shot ahead of them. You were going, yo, we're pretty much nailed on for top 4. We're in the cup final. We've won a cup. Blah blah blah. Now, if he don't get top 4 and he loses that cup final, yeah, your opinion will now be, oh, actually, maybe there is a conversation to be had. I know you personally might not say that. No. There'll be a lot of fans of Man United that when you were 13 points clear of Liverpool saying, top 4's done.
But Lee, what I was about to say to you a minute ago is this. What you're doing is fair enough in your mind, and that's absolutely right. You know, but you're applying context to a claim you made. And this is what you sometimes don't allow others. So you'll say, for instance, you'll turn around and say, like, if you don't make top 4, he should be sacked, without applying any context of the season, how long a manager.
I did give you context on Ten Hag.
No, I'm using that as an. Sometimes on this show, you're like, no, that's what should happen. Standards, Terry. When the answer generally is a little bit more balanced, as you've just put out. This comment here says, people hyping De Gea's clean sheet record certified to fit back line to protect his true suspect quality once actually having to be tested due to a diminished injury plagued back line. It makes me sick. What a fraud. See, I look at it this way. You're a long time no see, Gunner. By the way, I look at it this way. He's still a brilliant shot stopper, even though he made that mistake. But there are deficiencies in De Gea's game that need to be called out. This here says, Lee said Gavi is overrated, but this is the same guy that said Ryan Fraser was at Hazard's level at one stage.
I never once said he was Hazard's level. If you're going to quote me,
say that.
No, so this is what these little incels do, Terry. Yeah, they take a starting 11 that I put out in 2018. They're still crying about it in 2023 because I had Chilwell in the team. I actually put possible starting 11. Not once did I say it was a Premier League starting 11. Could have been a Europa League starting 11. It had Reece Nelson in it, who, by the way, this lot got their pants around their ankles, begging him to sign a new deal because he's about to walk out for nothing. Well, he was in my starting 11. I had Lacazette in it. I had Ryan Fraser in it, who that season before rivaled Hazard in terms of output, but they all like to cry. I had Lewis Dunk in it. Well, Lewis Dunk's a better centre back than Rob Holding's ever been.
We've got KJ, is the clip at the right? Because it's a 10-minute video. Is it the right bit? Right. Let's put this.
Yeah, find the clip, man. Find the clip. Come on, put me in the mud. I'm in the mud.
Let's press play, KJ. I can't press play because you scared it.
Go. Technical difficulties. Look
KJ,
at this. I
can't press play, KJ. Where you gone, KJ? He's backstage, but okay.
Sack the director. He's flopped. Yeah. He's fouled. He's fouled, mate. Yeah. He's flopped.
It's not playing.
There's bugs in the system. Gremlins. The Penguinos have got in the system, mate.
Yeah, I got no idea. Why that's not playing. I'm not too sure.
Oh, how unlucky.
Yeah, I don't know why.
No doubt you'll put that out as a whole new clip later, mate, just to mud me. Lee Gunner's a flip-flop in capital letters.
I don't put out clips to mud
Put out
anyway.
the flip-flop emoji on it, Tel. That's what I do on my Instagram with my hashtags. Flip-flop with the emoji of the flip-flop.
This here says we're about to win La Liga, and I'm Xavi out getting embarrassed in the Champions League and constantly playing the same players that fouled under the previous 4 managers.
Barcelona have standards. Barcelona have standards, but you're not allowed to sack a manager when he wins a league, mate. That's just unheard of.
Here we go. Let's play it, KJ. Let's play it. He's signed in. Yeah. Here we go.
I even said on my fan cam that if he gets Arsenal in a title race till the final month of the season, I'll be the first to put my hands up and say, do you know what? Fair play to him. It's banged. The process of, sorry, it's a youth project now. The youth project has banged.
Yeah.
There we go. That's what you said.
Yeah,
so
you're going to back him now. Where did I say I'd keep him in that clip?
So play it again. Play it again for KJ so we can hear it.
Play the process has banged. That's it.
The process has worked.
I don't know if you did. I'll be honest. Yeah. I even said on my fan cam that if he gets Arsenal in a title race till the final month of the season, I'll be the first to put my hands up and say, do you know what? Fair play to him. It's banged. The process of, sorry, it's a youth project now. The youth project has banged. Terry, fantastic start. Yeah, I've just done a show with Rance a minute ago. I've just sat there and I've said to him, bro, other than Man United, we have been flawless this season. We have been the best team to watch in the league this season. But nobody clips that crap, do they?
We did. Listen, I hear, listen, and that's why I wanted to play it, because I knew you said something like that. I didn't know exactly what you said, but you're gonna.
Yeah, but not once did I say I'd keep him in the job, did I?
Yeah, but hang on. But let me ask you a question. Then. Let me ask you a question. Why would you say if someone's banging at their job?
Yeah, well done. The process is banged. It took you £500 million. Come on, Tell. Listen, I did not expect. I did not expect Arsenal to be in a title race. Yeah, all the people that have been trusting the process, project, phases, whatever they want to call it, and dress it up as, that sit there and say that they didn't expect to be in a title race, are chatting bollocks. Because otherwise, what have you been backing for 4 years? What, you've been backing just getting in the top 4? Was that where we're at? Is that what you're still in the Wenger era? Yeah, so they have been expecting it. But now the process has banged and we're up there. We're not going to win it. I still think City will win it. Yeah, I'd love us to win it. Yeah, because I'll tell you what, it'd be a mad turnaround after bottling them 4 games and then we're still in the winning it. That'd be insane. It'd be insane. And imagine if they win the Champions League and the Cup and we beat them to the title and we ruin the three-peat. Yeah, watch how many of you Man United fans will be loving Arsenal off then. Yeah, do you know, three-peat under treble. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, Terry, that Barcelona fan there, Real Madrid fans, yeah, teams Bayern Munich, teams that we smashed the stadium down for to compete with, they don't have this sentiment with managers. Why are Arsenal fans so emotionally invested in players and managers? You don't get this at any other European club, only English clubs. And listen, he has done very well this season, Arteta. But ultimately, if we don't win the league, he has to take accountability for that. Yeah, because him subbing on Kivior at Anfield when he played 4 minutes of Premier League football instead of Jorginho. I mean, come on, mate. Why? Why did we sign Jorginho then? We signed him to slow games down.
And that's where Arteta in the last few games need. Listen, hindsight is a lucrative commodity. However, you look at Kivior and Jorginho in the last couple of games, like they should have played. They should have started. I mean, Kivior looks, again, so hard to judge off a couple of games. Yeah. But what I've seen in 2 matches, he'll be.
Well, it's killed the myth about having a right-sided centre-back that's right-footed, isn't it? Because he's left-footed. Yeah, so that BS can now be put in the bin because he's left-footed playing at right centre-back. Who knew? Yeah, if you can defend, you can defend. It doesn't matter what foot you are. Yeah, not only that, when we're playing Saka week in, week out, and for 4, 5, 6, 7 games in a row he's dropping stinkers or average performances, why ain't Reece Nelson getting the game? Why ain't Jesus playing on the right and Trossard up front? Trossard was our player of the month in March. He was on the bench every game in April. He was on the bench again for the last 2. Why? He was on the bench for the last 7 games, Terry. Like, that makes no sense to me. Yeah, then throwing Eddie Nketiah on, like in stoppage time at Anfield. Why? What's he going to do with 1 minute to go? Yeah, then you throw Smith Rowe to the Lions 3-0 down and Trossard 3-0 down. You throw him on at the Etihad. Against Man United, the high line against United, we eventually get back in the game. Saka scores. And then instead of retreating and sitting back and soaking it up, pressure for 5-10 minutes, making a sub. We go, actually, no, we'll sit there and wait until they go 2 and 3-1 up before we make subs. Why? Like, so listen, he's done very well, Arteta, but ultimately, there's better managers out there. Better managers and people I had somebody in my stream yesterday saying, oh yeah, but Ancelotti's a cup manager. Well, how comes he's the only manager that's won a title in every five leagues then, the big 5? Okay, maybe he's the only one who's managed in all 5 of them. I don't know. Maybe he's not.
Well,
yeah,
Jose's about to go PSG. Well, it looks like Jose's going PSG. So
there you go. But Jose ain't won a league. Well, he did win a league with Inter, didn't he? He's won one with Chelsea. Porto, he's won 4 in it.
On Ancelotti, Real Madrid, how do you see tonight going?
Hala Madrid. Hala fucking Madrid, mate. Football heritage. Football heritage. Yeah, trust me, mate. Yeah, them Man City players are up for it, and they've got a wonderful team. They've got a wonderful manager. But this is Don Carlo, mate. Yeah, I watched that game against Osasuna at the weekend when they won another trophy. Apparently, this washed manager that I wanted at Arsenal twice when both our previous managers got sacked. Apparently, he was washed. Look at what he done at Napoli and Everton. Okay, well, he had Everton 9th in the table, mate. They're now 19th. Well, they're probably 16th now. Yeah, but my point is that guy is a quality manager. None of this inverted fullback or hybrid centre-backs and all that crap. Yeah, just straight, pure football. It's a simple game. Up and down the pitch, do your jobs in midfield, give the ball to Benzema, get the ball to Vinny, get the ball to Rodrigo, get Modric pulling the strings, Cruz sweeping up. Yeah, Camavinga, sick baller. But Man City have got some sick ballers as well. I just think Man City don't beat them. I don't see it. Yeah, I did tip them to win it. And if they had got to a final against Madrid, then I'd go with City. Yeah, one-off game against Madrid, I think you beat them. Yeah, Osasuna nearly beat them at the weekend. Yeah, they were crap at the weekend, but they did enough and they reserved enough energy in that game. Just did enough to get over the line against Osasuna. They can't afford to do that tonight. Otherwise, City will batter them. But it's their competition, man. Yeah, like their former president said, Ramon Calderon, when you come to Real Madrid, it's not success to win the Champions League. It is an obligation. Yeah, they're winning it. Them and AC Milan in the final. I think they'll beat Man City tonight. And then I think they'll get something at the Etihad next week. They'll go through. AC will do Inter. The last time AC Milan were in the final, Don Carlo was their manager as well. Football heritage. That's it.
I want you to be right. I want Real Madrid to win. The idea of this treble being done, even though Man United still have theirs, and even though we did it first and all that jazz, I just don't want. It's something that's so like. You guys have got an invincible, but one team in England has done the Invincibles before. Now, it was 100 years ago, but it's been done once before. But it's still very unique to you.
Less games.
Yeah. The treble, and I don't care about a type of treble, the treble's never been done. And somebody else just matching it is genuinely painful for me. At the same time, my club isn't where I want it to be, so it's sort of double bubble. You should never write Real Madrid off, and I'm not writing them off, and I'm not saying they have no chance. I'm not going to do what Wayne Rooney did about City will destroy them, but I have an horrible feeling that they're going to cut through them over the course of 2 games. I think tonight will be closer because it's in Madrid, but I think over the 2 games they're going to cut through them. They've got Haaland now. There's a difference. Haaland, in my opinion, unless he gets a bad injury, is going to break Ronaldo's record in the Champions League. This guy is maybe the greatest European goal scorer that we've ever seen produced, and he's just on fire right now. I think it might be narrow score wise, but tonight I'm going to go 2-2, and then I think they'll win at the end.
There's an awful lot of people in this chat that don't watch Real Madrid. Camavinga does not play as an inverted fullback, mate. Yeah, he's played at left back a couple of times. That's it. Yeah, and in the last game, Nacho played at left back. And the game before that, Nacho played at left back. And the game before that, I've watched every game pretty much in Madrid this season, mate. I watch them all. Yeah, like, what are you chatting about inverted fullback? No, he don't. When Real Madrid played in their last game, was it Chelsea? He was playing in midfield and had 100% pass accuracy the whole game. He weren't playing at left back in that game, mate. What are you chatting about? Seriously, man. Like, come on. It's football heritage, Del. I'm telling you, man. Modric knows how to win it. Yeah, Cruz knows how to win it. Yeah, Man City have got fantastic players and they are a great team. Yeah. But I just don't see them beating Madrid over 2 games. I don't see it. If it was one off, I'd say yes, City all day long. But nah. Yeah, and do you know what? Away goals don't count anymore, so it's irrelevant. Like it being away first, it's irrelevant. I think that helps Madrid. Yeah, we know Madrid are not going to have most of the ball. We know that they're going to sit back and they're going to counter. Yeah, they did it at Anfield. Yeah, I think that would be exactly the same as the game plan they'll go with tonight. They'll sit back. They were 2-0 down quick at Anfield. Then they just went, bang, see you later.
Oh, now I'd love a result like that. I'd love them to win 4-0, something like that tonight, because then you think, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying Camavinga's never inverted, by the way. Camavinga has played inverted fullback twice this season, I think, or 3 times. Yeah, over the whole season of about 60 games. Yeah, but yeah, I think that they'll let City have the ball. They'll sit back. And Vinny Jr., that's the real star boy right there, mate. That guy is absolutely quality. And that tells you right now, yeah, that is a player that has a massive, massive fucking brain on him, yeah, and gets it. Because he's gone to Real Madrid, really young. All the stars are there, everyone's there, and he buckled, man. He flopped. Yeah, Benzema and him were arguing on the pitch every week, and like all the fans were on his case and all of that. Yeah, and then he just thought, one day, I'm at Real Madrid. And it's since then, he's just flown. Yeah, and he gets better and better every time I watch him, mate. He is absolutely quality. Yeah, and if they stop him, they've got half a chance. If they don't stop him, he's going to rip them a new one. Yeah, and then you've got Big Ben's. Big Benzema, man. He keeps doing it, doesn't he? So, yeah, Vinny does own City. Vinny owns most of the English teams, to be fair, mate.
I pray.
His last 2 years, he's been class. The one thing I'll say, yeah, is... What I think Militao's out. I'm not sure. I think he might be out.
Militao's out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's out. Yeah. But it's going to be interesting to see Rudiger and Haaland, because Rudiger's a bit of a throwback centre back, isn't he? Like he wants to have a scrap. He's always the first one on the scene of a crime, like to start beef and all of that. So it's going to be interesting to see whether he has a tussle with him or whether he actually, and he's pretty quick as well. Rudiger, he's not that quick, but he's quick. But it's going to be interesting to see whether he actually stands off of Haaland, or whether he gets touch tight to him, because we made that mistake with Rob Holding. Don't get touch tight to Haaland, because they're going to try and throw the ball up to Haaland and get Kevin De Bruyne running like they did against us. Right? Haaland's first touch is not that great. So you stand a yard or two off of him. As soon as he takes the first touch, bang, engage and get the ball. Yeah. If you get touch tight to him, he'll just throw you on the floor. He'll tussle you and he'll do you. Yeah. If you let him have 3 or 4 yards, he can spin and run at you and you ain't catching him. So stay a yard or two off of him, wait for him to take the first touch. After time, it'll bounce off him. Then you engage him. Yeah, but it's going to be a good game, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking
to be nervous, like for both teams for the first 20, and now I think we'll see some proper football after that.
I'm looking forward to it. I want City to win because it's their time. Although I see Madrid winning, this is what Debbie.
I have to go in a minute, by the way. I'm 10 minutes late, mate. Yeah.
The process has banged. It has reached the high. It's reached its high ceiling. Still bottled an 8-point lead. Arteta and Arteta Fan TV out. I live in America. I don't randomly bump into Edu, is what Tony is.
Big up my boy, Tony.
Got to say there. Just for a quick question, do you think Barca will sack Gavi for not winning the Copa del Rey?
What kind of question is that?
I don't know.
Well, they've only won the Copa del Rey twice in the last 10 years, or 3 times in the last 10 years, mate. What's your point?
No. Lee, what do you think of Odegaard?
Question. He's just won the league. What are you chatting about? I think he was trying to be smart. Yeah, if he had won the Copa del Rey and not won the league, he probably would have been sacked. You're doing it back to front, mate. Yeah, which is why Ancelotti's job's on the line, because he's 13 points behind Barcelona and he's a point behind Atleti. Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's won the cup and he beats City.
What do you think of Odegaard?
What do I think of Odegaard? I've seen Dennis Bergkamp, mate. Like, why are people so desperate for me to rate this guy? If you rate him. I don't.
I hear you on that.
That's it. I've seen him,
we got another clip here, KJ. What's this clip?
I've seen this one. Yeah. People want to force me and shoehorn me into rating these players. Yeah. I've seen the best of the best footballers, not just at my club, but over the world. Yeah. Don't try shoehorning me into rating bang average shit, because your standards on the floor, innit?
I get that. What was it? Player KJ? What did he say? I can't.
So I look at it, Terry, and I think, well, if we finished outside of the top 4 this season,
I know what I said,
then that's a disgrace. Absolute shambles. If he doesn't win a trophy this season and finishes outside the top 4, I could understand why the club would still keep him. The aim of elite sport is to win trophies. Doesn't matter whether you finish 10th, 12th, 13th, 1st, 2nd, whatever. If you win a trophy, if he wins the League Cup, yeah, I will cheer that trophy, mate. It's a trophy. That's the aim, right? You're supposed to win trophies. And if he finished 5th or 6th or 7th and won that cup, I would cheer it. I wouldn't want him here. I'd say, cheers, mate. You've won a couple now. See you later. You've left us half decent squad. Cheers. If he gets us in the top 4 and wins the League Cup or the FA Cup, then I could understand why he'd keep his job. But again, for me, Terry, I have grown up on Arsenal winning and competing. Yeah, for all the honours. If he won the league or got us in a title race, and this is where people go, you're contradicting yourself now. If he won the league, cool. I'd be like, wow, I never expected that. I am fully buried in the mud. I'd even buy a T-shirt with Arteta in, I'm in the mud on it. He ain't winning the league, Terry. If he finished 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, but finished within 6 points of the leader, yeah, then I'd go, do you know what? I'll cut him some slack because he did what I wanted. Even if he didn't win anything, if it gets me in a title race till the death and finished around 6 points behind the leader, then I'll cut him some slack because he has done a lot of money, Terry. He has been the most protected manager in world football. Yeah.
So when you say, so cutting in some slack.
Yeah. I'll just say I want him sacked politely.
Lee, I love you, bro. I love you, bro.
What date was that video?
That was about 7 months ago. That was
7 months ago. So he wasn't 8 points clear at that point. Cool. Context and all that.
That was in
Context
September.
And all that, yeah. So he wasn't 8 points clear at that point. Thank you. Okay, cool. So opinions changed based on new evidence presented. Cool. So at that point, we was top of the league probably October, maybe September, October time when that was.
Yeah. September 21st.
Well, there you go then. So 1 month into the season, 6 weeks into the season. Cool. Yeah. Now fast forward, we're 8 points clear. Yeah, it's what it is, isn't it?
I hear you, bro. I know you got to shoot. Viewers, you've all been amazing as ever. Make sure like buttons are being smashed before you leave. Also, go and like the button now. The match reaction to Real Madrid, Man City is already set up. So we want to see you there tonight, even if you don't support either of the teams. Lee, go check out Lee's channel, of course, going live with rants very, very soon. Until next time, people, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon.